not in Kansas anymore.
I'll see you reach the wizard.
We've come such a long way. The wizard will fix everything.
We want to see the wizard. Bust my button.
Put 'em up, put 'em up.
There's no place like home.
I am Oz.
If you're joining us for the first time in the series, we did it last summer, but if it's the first time for you to experience it, let me give you a quick overview of what we are trying to do. We are trying to use Hollywood films to explore biblical truths. Another way that we've been saying it was we're trying to put on a spectacle to showcase our Savior. Now, we're letting you know that because sometimes it feels like it is fun, which it is fun. It's going to be fun. God likes to have fun. We can have fun too, but it's not just fun. It's more than that. We want to make sure that you are aware of that. The other thing, too, to make you aware of is we get a chance to follow in the rich tradition of Jesus in terms of being storytellers. If you know Jesus and you know his ministry, one of the things he used often as a teaching device was parables. Parables is basically an earthly story with a heavenly meaning. So Jesus would talk a lot about fishermen, farmers, kings. He'd talk about earthly things to relate to heavenly concepts. Salvation, rewards, eternity, earthly stories with a heavenly meaning. So we're following in that tradition as we look at blockbusters to find biblical truths. The series is going to be great. It's even better if you get a chance to watch the movie in advance. So I'm encouraging you to do that. If you don't get a chance, don't worry. You will still get a lot out of it. But we want to let you know if you can watch it in advance, that would be great. You get more out of it. Obviously, today we are covering The Wizard of Oz, but I want to let you know what's coming up down the road so you can jump in and watch it in advance. Over the next couple of weeks, we're going to be watching Karate Kid, Encanto, Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, The Bad Guys. So we got animation, we got action, we got a musical, and we got something from the 80s. So we got something for everyone during this series. Something for everyone. And since we have something for everyone, we encourage you to invite someone to the series. We've been talking about this for a while, but we encourage you to invite someone to come and join you, and maybe their life gets transformed for eternity because you were bold and made an invite. We've been encouraging our online campus to go to tlcc.org/movies, where there you can download a number of digital invites to give towards people. So we encourage our online campus to do that. And we encourage us here at West Orange, if you haven't yet, stop by the Next Steps table after the service, where there's a number of physical invites for you as well. Grab those, hand them out, and hopefully see a life be transformed over the course of the summer. Now, those are some of the things that excite me about the series, but one of the things that really excites me about the series is that we are doing it together as adults and as children. Normally, the message content that we cover over the course of the year is pretty different. We'll kind of do our thing up here, and they'll do their thing downstairs, and it doesn't really overlap. But during this series, we're actually covering the same movies and the same biblical truths, which is super helpful as a parent because you can engage your child in conversation. Normally, probably you, like me, as you drive home and you ask your child what they learned this morning in Cape Port, you might get two responses. First one, probably more common, silence. You don't get anything, no response as you're looking in the rearview mirror, nothing. Or you get this response where they say, Jesus, which is technically true, but it doesn't give you much to dialogue about and have a conversation about that. So this is different. Now you actually know what they learned and you can engage them on it. Actually, last summer, some parents told me, they said, this was really convicting. I said, why? Because you kept on saying, like, we're going to ask our kids what they learned, and we're going to have this great exploratory conversation. Well, my kids asked me what I learned, and my response was, Jesus. So it forced me to pay a little more attention during the series, knowing that my child might ask me as well. So if you're a parent, make sure you capitalize on that during this upcoming month. Like I said, the movie that we're covering today is The Wizard of Oz. So my first question in the room, show of hands, how many people have seen the movie Wizard of Oz? Okay, a lot of us, about half the room, it looks like, have seen The Wizard of Oz. If you are online and you've seen it and you watched it, just put the eye emoji in the chat. We'll know you've seen it that way. A lot of us have seen the movie. It's a very, very famous movie. First of all, a couple reasons. It's a good movie. It's been around for a long time, and it's pretty much played on television and on every format that we know, right? There's digital copies of it. It was on Blu-ray. It was on DVD. It was on VHS. If you don't know what VHS is, just ask somebody older beside you. They might explain you what that is. So it's been around, all formats. A lot of us have seen the movie already. Since it's been around for so long, it has kind of settled into our culture, into the zeitgeist. We all kind of know about the movie, even if we haven't seen the movie. Even if you haven't seen the movie, you probably know the end of this phrase. We're not in Kansas anymore. We're not in Kansas anymore. Maybe you've never seen the movie, but you use that phrase, but you know it's kind of a fish out of water expression. I'm somewhere I'm not used to be. This feels awkward for me. It seeps into our culture. It seeped into the culture this past summer as well, as my Toronto Raptors in the NBA drafted their first-round pick. And as an homage to the movie, he decided to get a custom-made ruby red jacket made. Looks beautiful, looks handsome. I think one day Pastor Terry should be rocking this from stage. It looks incredible. And it looks so good that he seamlessly blends into the cast, the original cast. You would have no idea that he wasn't in the movie. So it's seeped into our culture. A lot of people have seen it. And people are wearing jackets as well. If you've never seen the movie, let me give you a quick synopsis of it to bring you up to speed before we jump into some of the biblical truths we're exploring. Here's a good summary or synopsis. After being swept away in a tornado, a young heroine named Dorothy and her dog Toto end up in a wonderful land called Oz. She embarks on a journey to see the wizard in order to get home and makes friends with a scarecrow who wants a brain, a tin man who wants a heart, and a lion who wants some courage, all a while avoiding a wicked witch who is after her ruby slippers. So that's a good summary of the film. Let me give you a bad summary of the film. Bad summary of the film says this: transported to a surreal landscape, a young girl kills the first person she meets and then teams up with 3 strangers to kill again. Technically true, but not the best summary of the film. So that's good, not the bad summary of where we're going to go today. Let me tell you the 3 big ideas that we're going to cover in the course of the morning. The first one is this: God is fixing everything, God is giving us support, and God is preparing a place. Let's examine that first idea first. God is fixing everything. Every one of the characters that Dorothy encounters has some type of fatal flaw, some severe limitation, something broken inside them that needs to be fixed. She encounters all of them, right? Again, to recap, the scarecrow needs a brain, Tin Man needs a heart, the cowardly lion, his name tells us what he needs bravery. So all these characters have some type of limitation that they need, something broken that needs to be fixed. Let's take a look at Dorothy as she encounters this cowardly lion for the first time in the film.
I don't like this forest. It's dark and creepy.
Of course, I don't know, but I think it'll get darker before it gets lighter.
Do you suppose we'll meet any wild animals?
We might. Animals that eat straw?
Some, but mostly lions and tigers and bears.
Lions?
And tigers?
And bears.
Lions and tigers and bears. Oh, my.
Lions and tigers and bears.
Oh, my.
Lions and tigers and bears.
Oh, my.
Lions and tigers and bears.
Oh, my.
Lions and tigers and bears.
Oh, my.
Put 'em up. Which one are you first? I'll fight you both together if you want. I'll fight you with one paw tied behind my back. I'll fight you standing on one foot. I'll fight you with my eyes closed. Oh, pulling an axe on me, eh? Sneaking up on me, eh? Why?
Here. Go away and let us alone.
Oh, scared, huh? Afraid, huh? How long can you stay fresh in that can? Come on, get up and fight, you shivering junkyard. Put your hands up, you lopsided bag of hay.
Now, that's getting personal, Lion.
Yes. Get up and teach him a lesson.
Well, what's wrong with you teaching them?
Well, I hardly know him.
Well, I'll get you anyway, Pee-wee.
Shame on you.
What did you do that for? I didn't buy them.
No, but you tried to. It's bad enough picking on a straw man, but when you go around picking on poor little dogs.
Well, you didn't have to go and hit me, did you? Is my nose bleeding?
Well, of course not. My goodness, what a fuss you're making. Well, naturally, when you go around picking on things weaker than you are, why, you're nothing but a great big coward.
You're right. I am a coward. I haven't any courage at all. I even scare myself. Look at the circles under my eyes. I haven't slept in weeks.
Why don't you try counting sheep?
That doesn't do any good. I'm afraid of them. Oh, that's too bad. Don't you think the wizard could help him, too?
I don't see why not. Why don't you come along with us? We're on our way to see the wizard now, to get him a heart.
And him a brain.
I'm sure he could give you some courage.
Well, wouldn't you feel degraded to be seen in the company of a cowardly lion? I would.
Oh, of course not.
Gee, that's awfully nice of you. My life has been simply unbearable.
Oh, well, it's all right now. The wizard will fix everything.
It's been in me so long. I just got to tell you how I feel.
Well, come on.
Lions and tigers and bears, oh my, also, put 'em up, put 'em up. That's probably my favorite scene in the whole movie. Not only my favorite scene because of those two moments, also because of the line that Dorothy uses at the end to encourage the cowardly lion. Do you guys remember what she says? She tells him when he says, I'm afraid. I'm scared. I have no bravery. I mean, my name is the Cowardly Lion. What does she say in response to them? How does she encourage him? She says, I want to introduce you to the wizard who will fix everything. The wizard who will fix everything. Kind of reminds us of somebody that we know. Somebody with seemingly magical-like abilities, magical skills that has the ability to make the wrongs right, to fix everything. We see that foreshadowed in the Old Testament. Oftentimes, the Old Testament prophets are looking towards the future. They're talking to the nation of Israel, to what's their current predicament, but they're also saying, hey, but God is doing something now, but he will also do something more fully down the road. Let's take a look to see what Isaiah says when he's talking to the people in captivity in Babylon. Isaiah says this, every valley shall be exalted, every mountain and hill brought low, the crooked places shall be made straight, and the rough places smooth. The glory of the Lord shall be revealed. Valleys raised, mountains lowered, crooked straightened, the rough smooth. Isaiah is saying that everything will be fixed. All the wrongs will be made right. Everything will be brought back into alignment, the way it was originally intended to be. When this coming of the Messiah comes on the scene, that is what is going to happen. He talks about alignment, and alignment is a great thing. Alignment is a great thing. Regardless of where it happens in your life, alignment is a wonderful thing. You might be driving your car, and you keep on drifting off to the left-hand side. You go into the mechanic and they align it and you're now going safe. You're not having to constantly pull it back into the middle. Alignment is great. Maybe it's your golf swing. Maybe you, when you get to the green or the drive, you hit it and you always shank it off to the right hand. But you spend a couple hours with the pro and they help you work on your technique and you get alignment and you're back on the fairway. Alignment is a good thing. It's a good thing in our vehicles. It's a good thing in our sports. It's a good thing in our body as well. Maybe you wake up in the morning and you get up and you're full of knots, and you're hunched on over, and you've got bad posture, and I can see some of you right now straightening your backs as I talk about this, because you want alignment, you kind of feel the need for it. And so you go to visit your chiropractor, they put you into a pretzel, and then voila, you have alignment. It feels good. It feels good to have alignment in our bodies, in our cars, in our athletics. We need alignment not just on the personal level, but on the cosmic level as well. The scientific concept of entropy describes how everything is moving towards disorder, that the universe is breaking down. So this concept, again, for alignment, is needed across the board. It's needed on the personal level. It's needed on a grand scale. It's needed on a small and large degrees. Alignment is needed. So who is going to bring this alignment that we and the cosmos all need? Who is going to bring that alignment back to us? Paul tells us who's going to bring alignment back into our lives and back into our world. He says this. He said, "For God was pleased to have his fullness dwell in Jesus, and through Jesus to reconcile to himself all things, whether things on earth or things in heaven, by making peace through his blood shed on the cross." God is going to fix everything. Everything down here on earth and everything back up in the heavens. He's going to fix it all. I love the way the Message says that same verse. All the broken and dislocated pieces of the universe, people and things, animals and atoms, get properly fixed and fit together in vibrant harmonies. All because of his death, his blood that poured out on the cross. We get alignment when we're willing to submit. Only when we're willing to submit do we receive alignment. When I submit to the bill from Pet Boys, they will help my car get aligned. When I relent and finally go to a golf pro, will I fix my swing? When I finally submit myself to a doctor, will my back get strengthened? We only receive physical alignment in our physical world when we physically submit. The same principle applies to us in the spiritual realm. We only get spiritual alignment when we spiritually submit. It's not until I give up my life do I get true, full, and abundant life. Not until I'm willing to submit it. Not until I'm willing to bend the knee to the King of Kings will he allow me to graciously enter into his courts. Not until we're willing to parrot the words of Jesus and say, "Not my will, but thy will be done," will we see full life, the life God has dreamed and desired for us. We do not get alignment physically or spiritually until we are willing to submit. So we see out the characters of the movie. We're told about a wizard that will fix everything. And we've examined how a real God, not a fictitious Oz, will fix everything. Now let's look at how God is giving us support. Because one of the key ways he fixes us is through support. We see the support in the character of Dorothy. We saw it already as she supported the Cowardly Lion. When she encounters the other two characters, the Tin Man and the Scarecrow, she also gives them support. Let's take a look to see how that plays itself out.
Well, we haven't really met properly, have we?
Why, no.
How do you do?
How do you do?
Very well, thank you.
Oh, I'm not feeling at all well.
You see, it's very tedious being stuck up here all day long with a pole up your back.
Oh, dear, that must be terribly uncomfortable. Can't you get down?
Down? No, you see, I'm...
Oh, well, here, let me help you.
Oh, that's very kind of you. Very kind.
Well, oh, dear, I don't quite see how I can...
Of course, I'm not bright about doing things. But if you'll just bend the nail down in the back, maybe I'll slip off and come...
Oh, yes.
Oh! What? There goes some of me again.
Oh, does it hurt you?
Oh, no, I just keep picking it up and putting it back in again.
A man made out of tin. Yes.
Did you say something? He said oil can.
Oil can what?
Oil can? Oh, here it is. Where do you want to be oiled first?
He said his mouth. The other side. My goodness, I can talk again. Oh, oil my arms, please. Oil my elbows.
Did that hurt?
No, it feels wonderful. I've held that axe up for ages.
Goodness. How did you ever get like this?
Well, about a year ago, I was chopping that tree when suddenly it began to rain. And right in the middle of the chop, I rusted solid. And I've been that way ever since.
Well, you're perfect now.
My neck. My neck.
So we see how Dorothy helps both of these characters in their predicaments, how she helps them get unstuck, how she helps support them in their journey. First of all, it's the Scarecrow. She gets him off the pole. And then it's the Tin Man. She literally frees him from his bondage and his state of being stuck. So we see that in her along the journey. We also, if we can recall, we saw it in the clip, the first clip we saw with the Cowardly Lion. She gives him the encouragement, hey, the support. I'm going to take you to this wizard who will fix everything. I just want to go back to that scene for 1 second because he says a really interesting thing. He says this need for support, this desire to be fixed. What does he say about him and his cowardice spirit? He says it's been in him for a long time. He's been stuck for a while. He's been out of alignment for a while. He needs support to help him along the journey, and Dorothy is there to do that. So what does it look like for us to do that? How do we support one another? Let's move from the film and into our lives. What does it look for us as believers? I could give you a lot of different applications and encouragement to that end, but the key one that I want to focus on this morning is one anothering. One anothering. I mean, you might not be aware of that term, but in the New Testament, the writers give 59 encouragements, standards, commandments to one another. Which are ways in which we can support one another, encourage one another, equip one another. 59 different ways in which they do that. There's a list behind me, and I'm not going to read through the whole list, but I'll just go for the first 5 to whet your appetite. We got going in the beginning of the Gospels. Be at peace with one another. Wash one another's feet. Love one another. Love one another. Love one another. It seems like it's a really popular one. Love one another. It's great to see authors as they write and what are some themes that come to them that they feel to be valuable that they need to highlight multiple times. You can see John 5 times in his gospel and then 6 times in his letters, he says, love one another. It's very important for him to highlight that. And then also, if you look to, okay, so that's what John highlighted. What did Paul highlight? What did he say most often? Really interesting. 3 times he says in his letters, he says, greet each other with a holy kiss. I'm not entirely sure what we're supposed to do with that, but I'm just highlighting the fact that everyone highlights and emphasizes different things. Now, let me call it out right now. Unless you have photographic memory and perfect vision, you cannot see any of this, nor will you remember any of this. And that's not a problem. It's not a problem. We encourage you, if you'd like to get this one another list, a great way to do it is to go to our tlcc.org/subscribe page. You can subscribe for our newsletter. You can smash that subscribe button. I feel like I'm a YouTuber. You can smash that subscribe button, and you can get onto our email list. We will have that PDF included in that over the next couple of weeks, just in case your eyesight is failing you and you can't read it. But again, this is one of the best ways in which we can support each other, by one anothering each other. I like the way Andy Stanley talks about it. He says 2 quotes. The first one he says is, the primary activity of the church is one anothering one another. It's a bit of a tongue twister, but the primary activity of the church is one anothering one anothering. It's great that we come together and we gather together here corporately and sing and learn about God. But beyond that, we have the responsibility of one anothering each other. He also says this. He says, when everyone is sitting in rows like we are now, you can't do one another's. You can't do any one another's. You probably can do some. You probably can't do a lot in this format. Again, gathering for us together corporately is wonderful. It is great, but it is not complete. If this is the beginning and the end of your spiritual life, this 1 hour here, you are not going to be complete the way God has designed you. You're not going to become the man or the woman He wants you to be. You're not going to live the life He's dreamed for you unless you incorporate some of these one another's into your life. So why am I speaking about one anothering so much? Why is this so important to us? Why is it so important in the film? I have 2 words for you. Flying monkeys. Flying monkeys. Now, I know some of you right now are being re-traumatized, but I can tell you right now, when I saw this movie as a kid, I was freaked out by these flying monkeys, and they still give me terror today. Online, if you are traumatized, just write traumatized in the chat. We all understand. We understand if this bothered you or gave you nightmares. So the characters are dealing with these winged demons flying into their lives, and the only way they can do that is supporting each other along the journey. We do not have flying monkeys in our life. Hopefully you do not have flying monkeys in your lives, but we do have trials, tribulations that seem to swoop in from out of the blue and attack us. And unless we are living in community and supporting one another, we're going to have a difficult time fighting that off and getting through that adversity. We're going to have the difficult time ourselves, and we need to be one anothering for other people when they have their winged monkeys flying into the life. How do you support someone else through that as well? The characters' journeys are full of highs and lows, joys and sorrows, times of faith and fear. And they needed to rely on each other for support. So we need to do that as well. To receive the support from God, the support from others, and to give it to each other as well. It's interesting to see the character arc of a bunch of the characters. It's really interesting to see the character arc of the Cowardly Lion. I think I associate with that character the most. You see a lot of development there. But it starts off very scared. Well, when Dorothy and Toto are captured by the Wicked Witch and taken into her castle far away, the 3 characters devise a plan. They say, we're going to come back, and we are going to get her back. They devise this plan, but they need a leader. They need someone brave to lead the charge. Let's take a look to see who has that bravery.
What's that?
That's the castle of the Wicked Witch. Dorothy's in that awful place.
Oh, I hate to think of her in there. We've got to get her out.
Don't cry now. We haven't got the oil can with us, and you've been squeaking enough as it is.
Who's them? Who's them?
I've got a plan how to get in there,
Fine. He's got a plan.
and you're going to lead us.
Yeah. Me?
Yes, you.
I gotta get around there?
That's right.
All right. I'll go in there for Dorothy. Wicked Witch, oh, no Wicked Witch. Gods and no gods, I'll tear them apart. I may not come out alive, but I'm going in there. There's only one thing I want you fellas to do.
What's that?
Talk me out of it.
No, you don't.
Oh, no. Wait a minute.
So the Cowardly Lion's journey isn't complete yet. He's still moving towards bravery, and you can see his friends trying to support him to take the leadership here and to move on in to support and to save Dorothy. So we have covered the first 2 points already. Now let's cover the last one. That God is not only fixing everything, but part of that fixing is through the support that we have. But the last point we see in the film is that God is preparing a place. God is preparing a place. The movie starts out with Dorothy getting into some trouble. She gets into trouble 2 ways. First of all, her dog terrorizes the neighbor. She gets scolded about that. And the second thing, she's a little too adventurous. And as she's a little too adventurous, she falls into the big sty. She gets into some trouble. And she's feeling difficult. She's feeling sad that she's falling into this trouble. So let's see how she responds to this trouble in this clip.
Dorothy toppled in with the big
It's
door.
no place for Dorothy around the pigsty. Now, you go feed those hogs before they worry themselves into anemia.
Yes, sir.
Annie Em, really? You know what Miss Ghost said she was going to do to Toto? She says she was
Now,
going to...
Dorothy, dear, stop imagining things. You always get yourself into a fret over nothing. Now, you just help us out today and find yourself a place where you won't get into any trouble.
Some place where there isn't any trouble. Do you suppose there is such a place, Toto? There must be. It's not a place you can get to by a boat or a train. It's far, far away. Behind the moon, beyond the rain.
So that response to the trouble is actually the preamble to the famous song Over the Rainbow in the film. The song was a great song. It actually won 2 Oscars, Best Original Score and Best Song. It was actually ranked #1 by the American Film Academy as the best song in films. It's a great song. It's been around for a while, so a lot of us have seen it or heard it and know it, right? TV keeps on playing this. It's still on repeat. We've seen this again and again. It's a song so familiar and so popular that a number of artists have actually covered as well. A number of artists, surprisingly, also Arnold Schwarzenegger. I see some skepticism in the room. You don't believe me. It has been covered by Arnold. Let's play the clip. Let's take a look.
There's a land that I heard of once in a lullaby. Somewhere over the rainbow.
When I found that clip, I knew I had to share that with you this morning. It was deep on my heart. I've been waiting. You saved the best for last, right? In the message, the best for last. You will never be able to hear that song without hearing it with an Austrian accent ever again now because of that gem. You're welcome. You're welcome. The internet never fails. So when the song is sung by Dorothy, not Arnold, when the song is sung by the proper person, what are the themes of the song? What does she allude to? She points towards a theme of loneliness and longing. She is looking for a better life in a better place. She wants a better life in a better place. The desire to be transported somewhere that is far better than our current surroundings is not unique to Dorothy. It is common to all of us. We all wish for a better life in a better place. And Jesus assures us of that possibility. He says to his disciples in the first century, and also now in the 21st century, he says this, "Let not your heart be troubled. You believe in God, believe also in me. In my Father's house are many mansions. If it were not so, I would have told you. I go to prepare a place for you, and if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come again and receive you to myself, that where I am, you may be also." I love the way the New Living Translation summarizes that last portion. It says, "When everything is ready, I will come and get you, so that you will always be with me where I am." I will come and get you, and you will always be with me where I am. We are all desiring a better life in a better place, right? Our better life, I can tell you myself, every year I get older, I'm looking towards a better life, because every year I get older, I feel more the aches and pains of life. It takes me a little longer to get out of bed. The stretching exercise that I need to get ready is a bit more vigorous. I'm looking for a better life. We're also looking for a better place. We all feel the need for a better place. When we lose someone, when someone dies, and we go through the mourning process, what is part of that process? Part of that process is looking to be with that person in that better place. We all want a better life in a better place. Somewhere over the rainbow where skies are blue. Somewhere only dreams can come true.
Way that you dare to dream really do come true. Someday I'll wish upon a star and wake up where the clouds are far behind me, where troubles melt like lemon drops away above the chimney tops. That's where you'll find me. Oh, somewhere over the rainbow, bluebirds fly, birds fly over the rainbow. Why then, oh, why can't I? If happy little bluebirds fly beyond the rainbow, why then, oh, why can't I?
But you can go over the rainbow. Because here's the difference between the film and reality, between fiction and fact. Dreams really can come true. And not because we're wishing upon a star, but because we're worshiping somebody who's come from the stars. It's come down to earth to save you, to save me, to save the bluebirds, to save all of creation, all of the cosmos. That is who we worship, someone from the stars. But beyond that, that person, he has gone back over the rainbow, back through the stars to his Father to create a place for you. So that where he is, and he is coming back, you will be able to be with him as well. Jesus, we thank you that you have redeemed all things through the shed work of your blood on the cross. That us as individuals, as a community, as a creation, as a cosmos are one day going to be brought back into alignment. But Father, it takes submitting. It takes submitting for us to receive that. So this morning, we put our hands out and we say thank you and we submit ourselves. For those who have never done that, I encourage you now to take a moment and to submit yourself to the fixing, the aligning, the complete work of Jesus in your life. For those of us who have experienced that, may we see it anew this morning. May we see you, Jesus, coming from the stars, going back, and one day calling us to be with you again. And may that bring joy in our hearts, and may that bring hope in our spirits, and may we share that goodness with others as well. Amen and amen.